I guess we got to start with Embiid. There's been a lot of MVP chatter around him. When you see what he did last night and just what he's done this entire season, not to mention staying healthy, Tim, how would you describe what you've seen from him this season?
He's a completely different player in terms of his mentality. He comes to the arena now looking to dominate. I think his approach is much more businesslike. He's clearly has had a transformation with his conditioning and his stamina. So he's able to stay on the court longer stretches and also be there and be really good in the last 6 minutes of games, which is something he has struggled with in the past. So for me, it's night and day looking at the first part of his career with what he is doing this year. And you can credit, him. He gets most of the credit, but I think the coaching staff obviously has to get some credit here. They've gotten something out of him that the previous regime could not. And for me, that's why this is the MVP of the league. And I actually think it's a fairly wide margin between Joel Embiid and whoever you want to put second. And I don't care that he missed time. Who hasn't missed time, basically, in this kind of season? Everybody has missed a chunk of time. At the end of the day, he's going to get in 50-plus games if he stays healthy the rest of the year. 50-plus in a 72-game season is more than enough for me to say that this guy is the MVP, because I can't imagine Philadelphia. And I know they won some games recently while he was out, but if you take him out of that lineup for an entire season and think that team could be anywhere near the top of the Eastern Conference, I think you're fooling yourself. Instead, they have the best record in the East, and he has been the most dominant, certainly the most dominant big force in the game. He's so unique because of his power, his speed, and then I think what differentiates him most of all, his touch, his finesse, his ability to shoot the basketball despite being that big. He's money at the line. He shoots fadeaway jumpers. He can shoot trail threes. That should not exist with a guy this big. And that's why he has this unique ability to dominate a game in ways right now that nobody else in this league really can, quite like him. And that's why they've got a puncher's chance against Brooklyn, even if they're healthy, because he can attack them in a way that nobody else in the Eastern Conference really can.
Legs, you used the word fool. I work with a fool here at ESPN on our show who believes, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, who believes that Joel Embiid is the most skilled center in the history of the NBA. I got a guy that I think is, but you tell me.
Well, I think for me that the two guys you'd be talking about that would go into this conversation would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Hakeem Olajuwon. Mm-hmm. And for me, and I started saying this back in mid-January when I started saying this was the MVP to me, he's the closest thing we've seen to Olajuwon in his prime. And that, to me, is probably the most overall skilled big man this league has ever seen, because you have to have the combination of being able to go into the post and completely overwhelm and dominate a guy physically down there. Both of these guys could do that and be a little bit more powerful than Hakeem. Hakeem did it down there with his footwork and his ability to just get you off balance, get you leaning different directions. You saw what Hakeem did to David Robinson, in that famous series against the best defensive player in the league. He was unguardable down there. But then you also have to be able to go out. Can I make a mid-range? Can I get to the line and make important free throws? Can I pass out of double teams? And Embiid struggled with that. He's much better this year. He doesn't play around with the ball as much. So I think that's the best comparison. And then I think, you can't deny the skill that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had as a big guy with what he mastered with the sky hook, his fluidity, the way he ran the floor. Kareem also would be on that list. But I think for me, it might be Hakeem and Joel Embiid if you really want to get it to a head-to-head debate.
Sounds like we're both right, Key. I don't know.
Okay, whatever. Legs, so let's go to Curry. Curry, I didn't know this. For some reason, I feel like it, and a lot of people feel like this, I'm sure, chasing that 14 threes. He feels like he can get that. I thought he already had it plus some, but I guess not, huh?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I saw a stat. Look, I think by this point, we all think we've seen everything there is to see out of Steph Curry. You think about this. He's a two-time MVP. He was a unanimous MVP. He was on a team that went 73-9. He's a three-time champion. And yet, you can argue this is the best stretch of basketball he's ever played. Look at the last 5 games. The guy's made almost 8 threes a night on 54% shooting from the three-point line and averaging 41 points a game. So this is Steph Curry at his best. And we thought that was probably behind him, we knew he'd still be really good, but not this good. This is so special what we're watching right now out of Steph. It's really hard to put into words some nights. I saw a graphic the other night that blew me away. And again, I don't get awed anymore. Typically, I've been doing this a long time. When I saw the graphic put up a couple games ago that said there have been, in terms of guys making 10 threes in a game in history, right? I thought to myself, if you had asked me a question, how many times has he done it? I would have said, he's probably done it 6-8 times. I don't. How about 19 counting last night? 19 times he's made 10 threes in a game. You know who's second on the list? Klay Thompson. And in fact, if you take all of the guys who have done it more than one time and added all those games together, they don't equal as many times as Steph Curry has done it. That's what we have seen throughout his career. I said it before, I'll say it again. When you talk about the 3 skill components of the game, dribble, pass, shoot, because that's really where the skill is. This guy has the greatest combination of those 3 skills of any player we've ever seen. If you ranked every player 1 through 100, gave him a rating and those 3 skills, I think if you totaled those up, Steph Curry's going to come out the highest because he's got one of the best handles in the league. He's the greatest shooter of all time by a lot. And this guy also is obviously a great playmaker that doesn't get enough credit for his passing ability because we're so wowed by his shooting. That's how good Steph Curry has been throughout his career. And fortunately for us, he's not close to the end because this might be the best stretch of his entire career.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.